And now, from Glasgow.
So hello, welcome to stages 20 or issues 23 and 24 of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer, and in this issue we will be looking at the Lord Aquilor in issue 23 and a Loonboss in issue 24. Only two figures for two magazines, but very good figures. So let's have a look at the magazine. So we have history on the Necroquake. Then we have some stories. This one is about Venom, usual procedure, and then this one goes into more detail about the Lord Aquilor. And here we have a little roll. You can roll a d6 and you can find out all about his origins. So if, for example, if you roll a 4, this Lord Aquilor was a highwayman who made sure only to rob the wicked and to give his takings to those most in need. Very Robin Hood. So next we have the how to build, which we will be looking at shortly. As you know, we always build these. And then we have how to paint using the colours that we've already received in the previous issues. More painting. So that's what he should look like when you finished. Something like that. Grand figure, really, really nice. And then this one, it's the same guide. So we're actually, it looks like we're dealing with the mount separately on this one. No, we're not. And then we're going a little bit into shading. Remember, we did get a shade in a previous issue. Then we have a little bit more about the Stormcast Eternals. Let me just check that's not the same article. That is actually the same article, but the next page. Then we have a little bit more about playing it. So as you remember, each time they just introduce a little bit more of the rules, so that you can learn to play at a very nice, gentle rate. It's very difficult to learn so many rules and things, and specific rules about specific characters. It's very hard to understand all at once. And then we go on about the next issues, and then issue 24, Loonboss, as you can see there. So we go in more, got a bit of a split on my magazine there. The Gloom Spite Gits. Then we go into my favourite, the Grand Alliance of Chaos. I've always been a Chaos player, I'm afraid. So and here we go, and we go on about the various gods of chaos. There's my favourite, Khorne, and then you've got Zeech, Slanesh, and you've got Nurgle. I'm actually quite interested in Nurgle because it kind of does make sense, the way that there's life coming from decay, and it's a circle of life, but still not as awesome as Khorne. So we've got a bit there on the Realm of Shadow, and then we've got a little bit more about the Loonboss there. So character traits, so let's go for random of 2, and you get this Loonboss is an accomplished liar who tricks allies and enemies alike into helping him, and his name is Stilco. So Loonbosses get their position through cunning. As they climb through the rungs of power, they learn more dirty tricks, such as feigning injury to lure an enemy closer before detonating an exploding mushroom. So obviously this kind of character, they're not as strong, so they have to use a bit of cunning, which is a little bit like my two cats. Shadow is a very strong, powerful cat who can just go straight in, whereas Spirit, she knows she's not as strong, but she's a little bit sneaky, a little bit cunning. She'll lure him in and then she'll dodge and weave. and she'll get a sneaky attack in. So then we've got another bit here on the sneaky tactics. So for example, a 3 would be, this Loonboss always ensures that his own forces are fueled by aggression enhancing mushrooms. And then we go into how to build, and then you can see a fairly simple build process which we will go through. Both of these models in this video, they're glued to base. So then we've got how to paint. So we've got the undercoating and base coating and the shading. And remember, this won't be a completed painted model because we haven't yet got all of the paints. So we've got more rules here, and it goes straight into what looks like part way through. But we've got the rules on the battle rounds. So remember, this is one big part work, not a series of individuals, so it won't be complete until we get the final issue. So there we go, more about the rules. Then we've got a tutorial, heroic actions and command abilities. So you see we're getting a bit more advanced now. And then you've got some war scrolls on the Loonboss, 5-inch movement, so he's quite slow, 5 wounds, which is quite a lot, bravery of 5, and a saving throw of 4+, so you basically got about 50-50 chance of hitting him. And then we've got more tutorial. We've got so we're actually playing a game now, using some new rules. And then we go on to, they put this Gumpy bit on the back there, I don't understand why they're advertising the magazine within the magazine, but there you go. And then we can see that in the next issue will be the Azurite Fountain. That looks pretty good. So what we'll do is the next video will be a single issue, because we always do the paint issues separately. So one single issue for 25, and then 26 will be corn red, one of my favourite colours, being a corn player. And then we have our first contrast paint. Is that our first contrast paint? So Griffhound orange. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'll be honest with you, I've never used a contrast paint. I've heard really good things about them. They're supposed to be some kind of voodoo magic, but in 2 weeks we'll find out. So let's get on with some building. Okay, so let's have a look at the sprues first before we build them. So the first sprue we're looking at is the Lord Aquilor. If I don't know if I've said that right. Now, one of the things I absolutely love about GW sprues is the sharp detail. You can see there the fur on that. And the other thing I really like, when they do a mount, mounts are really hard to paint because you've got to create this kind of detail. And they actually put muscle detail, really nice detail in the horse. Well, I say horse, it's a horse's leg, but it's not a horse. Absolutely amazing. That feather detail there. You've got emblems and things on the armor. Absolutely amazing detail. Look, muscle detail there. So by the time you get a little wash on there, and then you reinforce the base coat and then add the highlights. I mean, that's just screaming out for me, is to scream out to do glazing and just build those colours up gently, and we just know that's going to look amazing. Really nice. So the next one is the Loonboss. Now, one issue with this, I say one issue, this is quite a fun one. Look, all these little mushrooms on there, well, toadstools, whatever they're called. There is one slight issue. First of all, you've got to pop that head into the helmet, which won't be a problem. You'll still be able to reach it. But when they've actually done the helmet like this, and it does say in the magazine there will be a gap, like a seam line, which you just fill with glue. Now obviously I use a different kind of glue, so that may not work as well for me. We'll see how it goes. But yes, and these are my favourite kind of models. These are not, neither of these are the push fit ones. I'm not a big fan of push fit. I do like my glue together models. The only problem with glue together is obviously once they're glued, they're glued. If you find you've glued a lot together and you think, oh, I wish I'd done that as sub-assemblies, it's too late. Whereas if they're push fit, you can always pull them together. Anyway, look, what I'm going to do now is I will build, I'll build the first model, we'll have a look at it, then I'll build the Loonboss, we'll have a look at it, and then we'll do some zenithal highlighting. So I've only built the first stage, and already you can see from my struggle it is quite complicated. Once you've got to really find the pieces, find where they go, but there is such positive location areas that you can't go wrong. This part here, maybe I should have put part 5 on first, but what you really want to do, rather than trying to find where the part fits, follow this. It's like a just there is like a leather strap, and then you follow that, and then you kind of get it in the right position. But yeah, that's that. So I'm going to build the rest of it off camera, and then we'll have a look at it. Him finished, and what an awesome figure. Quite difficult to put together in places. Most of the parts you can actually hold in place and then just dab in some I mean, I use a liquid glue. This particular one is Plastic Magic, but I believe that the Tamiya Extra Thin works well as well. Obviously Citadel would like you to use their glue in the tub. I prefer this. There were 1 or 2 areas where glue in a tube would have been a little bit better, mainly where you stick his torso. That is very loose. I'm finding some areas it's just the fit. I don't know if I've got things in the wrong position. Normally you find if something's not quite in the right position, it won't fit properly. Now his torso did come off a couple of times, and that was just, I think I didn't have it quite in position. One area that I thought was important to note, you'll see there's a little emblem, you can't really see it. The instructions tell you to put his arm on. Well, the way I interpreted, put his arm on first, then that. Don't, because then obviously that gets in the way. But most areas, things like these little details, I found it a lot easier to just like hold it upright, pop the piece in place, pop your finger over if you can, and then just get in with your glue and just use that capillary action. And then, as I always find with Games Workshop models, sticking them to the base was hard. You put a dab of glue on in this case his hoof, but it seems to, I don't know if it's the base, but the base seems to sort of take a long time to soak the glue up. So all you can really do is just hold it for about 30 seconds until it's strong enough to hold itself, and then just leave it. I've left it for about an hour. Right, so while I'm waiting for him to dry, we'll get on with the Loonboss, and I think I'll do the same. I'll glue the Loonboss together, I'll show you, and then we'll leave it 24 hours and we'll do some priming. So as before, it looks absolutely fantastic. I think I have already shown you this, haven't I? So it does look a really nice model. I'm not going to say it looks easier, because you just don't know with these, do you? You can have small, like less pieces and it's more complicated. Another one could have lots of pieces and it's easy. So I'll see you when it's done. So I finished stage 1, and it does warn us that the thread, where is it? It says there will be a gap in the helmet. So I tried to be a little bit clever, and I've used these clothes pegs to clamp it together. I have no idea if it's going to work. Let's have a look. So remove the pegs, and do you know what, guys? It's really hard to see on this cheap old camera, but I think that has done the job. So there's a tip for you. Citadel aren't going to tell you this because they don't sell the pegs, but if you clamp a peg right on the top bit there, and then one on the main bulk, and leave yourself enough room to just get that bit on the end, leave it for about 5 minutes, that will be absolutely fine. That is really, really good. I'm happy with that. Right, I'm going to get on with building it, and I'll see you when I'm finished. Okay, and here is the finished figure, and I think he's really nice. Now, unlike the previous model, which I've forgotten what it's called now, the Lord Aquilor, a lot of these pieces you can't dry, well, you can dry fit them, and it's essential to dry fit. Please make sure you do. Some of them have got little tabs that only go one way, and if you can't get it in the right way, it's not going to fit. What you'll find you're doing a lot is putting, like the arm connections, for example, put a dab of glue in, then bring the arm in. You can't really hold, it's just too small. But the actual pose is amazing, as always. As you can see, they always do with Games Workshop, Citadel, they always do these nice dynamic poses. Right, so what I need to do now, just to show off the detail a little bit more, get a good look at these, see what detail you can pick out, and then we'll see if the zenith highlighting can improve on that. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so we're going to do our usual zenithal highlight. As you can see, I've already done it in black, so it's all over in black, and then we're going to hit that at a 45-degree angle, if I can get my airbrush working. There we go. So we're going to hit that at a 45-degree angle with the grey, keeping always aiming for the centre of the model. And what this will do is this will pick up any raised highlights. Okay, so once we've finished the grey, we're going to go over with the white, and we're going to hit the white from the top. This is where your fingers are going to get messy, guys. So we just hit it from a 0-degree angle. As you see, we're going to hit it straight down. Obviously, move the figure to suit yourself. And all we're going to do is a very quick spray with the white, and anything that's visible from the top, you can see there, is going to get hit by the highlight. We've got our greys where the white can't hit, and where the grey can't hit, we've got the blacks, and I think that really brings that detail out really, really nice. I have already done this one to save a bit of time, and as you can see, look, from the top, very, very white. From the side, it's very grey. Lots of black underneath. There's so much detail, like inside the cape, but look at the detail that's really been brought out. That's an absolutely beautiful model and really dynamic. Right, guys, so that is going to be the end of that video. So there's going to be a triple episode next issue. We're going to be doing some Azurite Fountain. We're going to introduce 2 more colours, the corn red and the contrast Gryph-hound orange. And of course, if we're going to get Gryph-hound orange, then issue 27 is going to have some Gryph-hounds in it. So I hope you've enjoyed my video, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, bye bye.